Nigerian Army hands over 350 rescued terrorist victims to Borno State government. Retired police officers protest over unpaid pensions in Abuja. Electricity workers lockout minister issue 14-day ultimatum. And on the foreign scene, South Africa welcomes ICC arrest warrant request for Netanyahu and Hamas leaders. Hello, welcome to Trust News Update. My name is Lilian Ogazi. And to the news, the Nigerian Army has handed 350 rescued victims to the Borno State government at Malmari cantonment in Maiduguri. The civilians were rescued jointly with other security agencies and troops of Operation Hadinkai after 10 years of abduction by the dreaded Boko Haram terrorists in Sambisa Forest. During the handover ceremony, the theater commander of Operation Hadinkai, represented Major General Kenneth Chibu, attributed the success of the operation to international partners and the support of the Borno State government, adding that it will continue remarkable records in the fight against terrorism in the Northeast region.
The people we are about to hand over today, totaling 350. 6 adult males, 135 females, 209 children were found in the Sambisa forest. This effort is a demonstration of the professionalism exhibited by the Joint Task Force. We do not join innocent people as this. We don't join them in the battle. The Joint Task Force, under the able leadership of Major General W. Shaibu, has remained resolute to the accomplishment of its mandate, which is the return of normalcy and restoration of socio-economic activities across the Northeast region of Nigeria.
It's a usual process for us to receive vulnerable women from the Nigerian Army and took them to Bulunkutu for MHPSS and proper documentation. Then after they were trained in various case acquisition, we trace their family and reintegrate them to their communities and family.
Meanwhile, troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Subsector 3 Operation Worldstroke in Taraba State have captured 6 suspected kidnappers. The troops also rejected 2 million naira bribe offered to them by the suspects. The Assistant Director, Army Public Relations Officer of 6th Brigade Jalingo, Lieutenant Oni Olubunde, said in a release that the suspects were arrested at Chinkai village in Sakin Kudu village in Wukari and Ibi local government areas of the state 2 days ago. He said the troops working on a tip-off succeeded in the arrest of 3 suspects who also offered a bribe of 2 million naira for their release, which the troops rejected. He said the suspects have also been linked to numerous high-profile abductions in the region, targeting both locals and foreigners for ransom, and have long been under the surveillance of security agencies. Still on matters surrounding insecurity, Troops 1 Division Nigerian Army Headquarters Kaduna have killed 7 terrorists at Udawa village in Chikun local government area and Kagwa village in Birnin-Gwari local government area, all in Kaduna State. According to a statement by the Acting Deputy Director of Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Musa Yahaya, the troops deployed to blocking position at Udawa carried out a fighting patrol along the Udawa-Kurube Road on Sunday, and during an encounter with the terrorists successfully neutralized 5 of the criminal elements. He said that the troops during the operation recovered several weapons from the terrorists, including empty AK-47 rifle magazine, a pump-action gun, 6 cartridges and several other dangerous items. The troops in the operation exploited the general area and recovered 1 AK-47 rifles and 2 motorcycles. Meanwhile, the retired police officers of Nigeria under the contributory pension scheme are protesting in Abuja over several months of unpaid pensions. They came from different state chapters lamenting untold hardship faced by members over PENCOM failures to pay their entitlement. The retirees are asking the federal government to remove them from the contributory pension scheme. Meanwhile, the National Union of Electricity Employees and the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies stopped business activities at the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Power in Abuja. Members of the NUEE and SAACAC also locked out the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, and other workers of the ministry, stopping access to the Powerhouse building in the Maitama district of Abuja. The Acting General Secretary of NUEE, Ibueke Dominic, said the shutdown of the Power Ministry would continue until the government listens to the demands of the union or calls for a meeting to address the issues. They accused the minister that since he assumed office a year ago, the ministry and NERC have been running the sector without recourse to crucial stakeholders in the power industry. This was as the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress on Monday gave the federal government a deadline of May 31st, 2024 to reverse the hike in electricity tariff. The unions took the decision at the end of a jointly held National Executive Council meeting. For decades, governors have been the top decision makers on administrative and financial matters of local council in their respective states. However, there have been widespread concerns over irregularities in the conduct of council elections, with state governors frequently accused of manipulating the process to install compliant chairmen. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail speaks to Nigerians and a public affairs analyst on the proposed amendment of the Electoral Act, which seeks to empower the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to conduct local government elections. The report.
State independent electoral commissions controlled by state governors conduct polls for chairmanship and councillorship positions in the 774 local government areas across the country. However, many question the credibility of these elections, accusing governors of imposing their proxies to access council treasuries. To address these irregularities, the Nigerian Senate is moving to amend the Electoral Act, empowering the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to take over local government elections. We sample public opinion on this matter.
Though I'm saying in this country there are a lot of hanky-panky in all this thing, but it will still be better, purposely because from the states, from the federal, they can still have a kind of free flow of the election than for the state to be doing it. Because if the state is doing it, anyone the ruling governor decide in order to be there, that's who will be there.
Because they are, what's their job? If they are only limited to state and federal government, they should extend that same hand to local government areas. So I think the ruling from the National Assembly should go ahead.
Every state you go to, the ruling party gets to get the majority of the seats in the LGS. Why? Because they frustrate the process. Most of them use money to buy those seats for the people they want. So my own view, I think that national INEC should be able to conduct those elections at the LGL levels.
While some respondents advocated for INEC to take over local government elections, others called for a change in attitude among stakeholders to ensure the right actions are taken.
Secondly, we should deviate our mindset from using our security agencies, right, in handling elections. Whether national level or state level per se, I don't have business with that. But has our mindset changed in this country?
13 former governors are now serving senators in the 10th Assembly, including the President of the Senate, Mr. Akpabio. This explains how powerful the former governors are at the Senate. It is clear that governors decide what happens at the local council level. The question is, could the Senate amend the Electoral Act to allow INEC hold LGA elections? Well, Nigerians are not sure about that. This is because in 2022, the Senate reviewed the Constitution and passed a bill to grant financial administrative autonomy to local governments. However, State House of Assemblies across the 36 states of the Federation rejected the bill.
Several local government areas in Nigeria are just existing by the name. Some of them don't even have money to cut grasses. And so this is a glaring point we can take advantage of. Send their money to them, let them be autonomous. We conduct elections, INEC can do it. You don't do the election all the day. If I can advise INEC, for heaven's sake, you can do it on a strata basis.
While the Nigerian Senate debates the amendment of the Electoral Act to empower INEC to conduct local government elections, ensuring both a credible election and financial autonomy for the local governments remains a pressing issue. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Weeks after the launch of the Citizens Delivery Tracker app by the Tinubu-led administration to ensure citizens become an integral part of the monitoring and performance management process of government, reactions have continued to trail the initiative. Set to uphold ministers accountable on key deliverables of their portfolios, Nigerians have been speaking on the level of awareness on the part of the citizens, the political will by government to ensure its effectiveness, as well as ministers' efficiency in the implementation of programs, policies, and projects. The report.
Transparency as a fundamental element of good governance is oftentimes required to increase public trust in government activities, policies and decision-making processes. This is the central role of the Citizens Delivery Tracker app, which is believed, if utilized effectively, will help tackle the number of challenges faced by the country. But there are fears that this application's existence is not known by the vast majority of Nigerian citizens, thereby defeating the aim of its creation.
Application, the Citizens Tracker, will not be effectively utilized if most of the citizens are not even aware of the application, right? So the report says that 64% of the poll they conducted of the citizens are not even aware of the application. And this is a fact. Most of Nigerian citizens are not even aware of, the application and how it functions. And this is a question that must be considered.
While users of the app say the initiative is a welcome development, they, however, insist there is need for more awareness on its existence as well as the potential positive impact it will have on good government.
It's all about awareness, because just like the way I'm telling you, I'm not aware. If people, they made it public so that people can know.
I'm not aware of that. I'm just hearing it, as I said. I think by creating awareness, maybe on media, social media.
But actually, I'm aware of that app, and I think the present government is doing wonderful well.
There are also calls for accountability in the process of using the app, as well as political will to ensure that impact is made.
And it's important to also point out that, intentionality matters a lot. It is one thing for you to provide an application for the citizens to track, and it is another thing to abide by the principles of accountability and transparency. An application will not truly tell us whether the projects that are being executed are actually being executed. We can only see what we know is on the application. So it's important that, it's not a mere proclamation of providing a platform or an application. It must start deep from our hearts. As leaders and as the government, we must always abide by the principles of accountability and transparency.
With this initiative in place, the federal government hopes to adopt international best practices and utilize globally recognized performance indicators and benchmarks to assess the performance of MDAs in the implementation of government programs, projects, and policies. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, Benue residents blame rising cases of child abuse on ignorance and poverty. More news after the break. Do stay. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, Nigerian Army hands over 350 rescued terrorist victims to Boko Haram state government. Retired police officers protest over unpaid pensions in Abuja. Now moving on, the Jigawa state government says it is putting modalities in place in the state's education sector in order to dismantle barriers and create expansive opportunities for the development of women. Governor Umar Namadi disclosed this during the inauguration of various projects at Senior Girls Secondary School in Jigawa. The report.
Free education for girls from primary to university levels, along with free meals, enhanced school infrastructure, and adequate teaching materials has transformed girl-child education in Jigawa State. These efforts, according to the governor who spoke at the Girls Science Secondary School, Jahun, are aimed at empowering women to reach their potential.
Your Excellency, we are especially thankful for the recent renovation of our dining hall. The transformation is remarkable, and it has made a significant difference in our daily lives. The renovation was provided us with clean, comfortable, and enjoyable environment to have our meals. Your Excellency, we are also grateful for increasing the quality and quantity of our meals. The food is not only nutritious, but also delicious.
Governor Namadi said the notion that when you educate a woman, you educate a society reinforces his commitment to equal educational opportunities for both women and men in the state.
It is quite important to congratulate the education family in Jigawa State today, because today is their own day. We have just finished launching or commissioning the renovated Unity Girls Secondary School in Malamaduri, which was renovated by Zenith Bank. And now, here in Jabun, launching the distribution of 30,000 set of school uniform to our girl students. This shows that the education ministries are up and doing. So congratulations, the education family.
The governor inaugurated a computer laboratory, dining halls, school fence, and a distribution of 30,000 sets of school uniforms at Girls Unity Secondary School, Malam Maduri, and Girls Science Secondary School, Jahun.
Now moving over to Benue State, where residents have blamed the rising cases of child abuse on ignorance and lack of adequate awareness on the dangers of the act. Reacting to cases of kids, especially minors, roaming the streets in the metropolis after leaving their villages, residents are saying that such children are being molested, sexually abused, or forced into child labor and prostitution. Jimmy Azande reports.
These kids are mostly from remote villages who leave their biological parents, with or sometimes without their approvals, to the city center, while some are unaccompanied minors roaming the streets of Makudi and other urban settlements, searching for survival means. However, this is now drawing widespread condemnation from members of the public who say child labor, hawking, prostitution and rape, which most of the children are exposed to, spell doom for their future.
Actually, I don't believe in the idea of sending my child out there in the city for someone to be trained on my behalf. That is why I always encourage parents to give birth to a certain number of children that they can take care of. Taking care of your child doesn't necessarily mean you have all the finances in the world. As a parent, you just need to be with your child, support him financially, physically, and psychologically. There are some people that don't necessary support children in this way. Sometimes when you send your child out there, your so-called relative might turn the child into a street hawker, and then you staying in the village might feel that my child is in the safe hand, but in the actual sense, your child will be suffering out there.
They are lured to the city because of poverty and the ignorance of their parents, who many times are deceived into thinking that they will have a better life through education for the kids.
The reason why most people send their children to the big brothers in town, as some may call it, is one, because of financial imbalances, that they cannot take care of those children on their own, and so they always feel it is a kind of help from those people. In most cases, these people came in a deceptive form. They present the situation in a way that one would be interested.
Stakeholders are urging parents to reconsider the plight of the kids who have been left unchecked for too long.
Those children too have the right to be in school. And those children who are hawking out there are exposed to so many dangers, especially, I would say, even sexual harassment, because these days you find children being abused sexually.
The absence of basic infrastructure in the villages, experts say, is a major reason for rural to urban migration in the state. They urge governments at all levels to provide basic amenities at local levels in order to save children from abuses. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The 210,000 barrel per day Porthacourt refinery may finally commence operation by the end of July after several postponements. The new date was disclosed on Monday by the National Public Relations Officer, Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chief Ukadike Chinedu. He stated that the development would stimulate economic activities, reduce the price of petroleum products, and ensure adequate supply. Last year, December, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lopobiri, announced the mechanical completion and flare start-off of the biggest crude refinery in Porthacourt. The refineries comprise 2 units, with the old plant having a refined capacity of 60,000 barrels per day, and the new plant has 150,000 barrels per day. And now to the foreign sense, South Africa's presidency has welcomed the recent announcement by the International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan, stating that he has requested arrest warrants for Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and 3 senior Hamas leaders over alleged war crimes and crimes against humanities. South Africa has been a vocal advocate for Palestinian rights and has recently filed a case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, accusing it of genocide, a charge that Israel denies. The move by the ICC aligns with South Africa's stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, underscoring its commitment to international justice. Both Israeli and Hamas representatives have vehemently dismissed the allegations. ICC judges will now review the evidence presented by Prosecutor Karim Khan to determine whether arrest warrants for Netanyahu, Gallant, and the Hamas leader can be issued. Dozens of people held a rally in Athens on Monday in a protest over last year's sinking of the Adriana, an overcrowded fishing trawler that had been sailing from Libya to Italy with hundreds of migrants on board. It sank on June 14, 2023 in international waters off the southwestern coast of Greece. 9 Egyptian men are due to go on trial in southern Greece on Tuesday, accused of causing the shipwreck, one of the Mediterranean's deadliest. Their lawyers would argue that Greece has no jurisdiction in the case and have insisted their clients were innocent survivors who have been unjustly persecuted. The exact number of people on board has never been established, but estimates range from around 500 to more than 700. Greece lies along one of the most popular routes into the European Union for people fleeing war and poverty in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And now in sports, following her achievement with Benfica Flamino, Nigeria Super Falcons midfielder Christy Ucheibe is focused on getting more laurels with the club. Benfica won the title for the 4th consecutive season in the Nigerian international, played an active role in the feat. Uchebe relishes the achievement via her social media handle and focuses on making more achievements with the team. She joined the Portuguese side in 2020 and has 4 goals in 68 games. Well, with that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us for more news programs and documentaries across all our social media platforms. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching and bye for now.